This is Carson TV News, your capital city news source.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Carson TV News, your source for Nevada's capital city news. I'm Courtney Bloomer. A federal judge on Thursday threw out a lawsuit filed by a coalition of rural Nevada counties to force the government to sell or otherwise dispose of tens of thousands of Mustangs in United States holding facilities. U.S. District Judge Miranda Dew in Reno ruled in favor of wild horse advocates who said the effort, backed by the Nevada Farm Bureau Federation, was organized by ranchers who want a bigger share of forage for their livestock. They said it would have forced the sale of federally protected Mustangs for slaughter. Dew said in a 9-page opinion dismissing the lawsuit that it was an unsubstantiated, broad attack on the Bureau of Land Management's overall wild horse policy effective in 10 western states. She said the suit lacks specifics needed to order BLM to round up more horses and get rid of the ones the agency says it already has gathered in compliance with the Wild Free-Roaming Horses and Burros Act. The Nevada Association of Counties filed the suit against the U.S. Interior Department in December 2013 and asked for an injunction to force the BLM to immediately round up excess horses on public lands, determine the statewide population levels every 2 months, sell or dispose of excess animals in government holding facilities, and stop interfering with Nevadans' water rights, Dew wrote. The case has made the BLM and horse advocates rare allies in a larger ongoing battle over the Mustang roundups that the horse advocates argue are illegal and should be stopped. Lawyers for the BLM said their motion to dismiss the case in January that they agreed with the ranchers' contention that current herds are overpopulated and threaten the ecological integrity of the range, much of it suffering from multiple years of drought. But they said the agency is hamstrung by budget cuts and a congressional ban on the sale of excess horses for slaughter, and that has pushed their facilities to the brink of capacity. BLM estimated that as of March 3rd, there were over 40,000 horses roaming BLM lands from Colorado to California, nearly twice as many as the agency maintains the range can sustain. More than 47,000 Mustangs have been gathered in recent years, remain in holding facilities, 31,000 in long-term pastures, 16,000 in short-term corrals, according to BLM's website. Ian Hill, a motivational speaker and businessman from Carson City, spoke for 50 hours last week to raise funds for the CPAC girls soccer team to make the trip to the President's Invitational Cup in Canada. Hill began speaking at 6 a.m. Thursday and spoke straight through 8 a.m. Saturday in an attempt to break the Guinness World Record for longest public speech. Hill estimates the team will need about $90,000 to take 80 girls to the President's Invitational Cup in Stony Plain, Alberta, just outside of Edmonton, where the FIFA Women's World Cup will be taking place at the same time. He set a goal to raise $25,000 during the record-breaking attempt, and donations came from across the country and North America, including $1,000 from a small fishing village of Twillingate, Newfoundland. However, the goal still seemed out of reach Friday night when he was $6,000 short. In the final hours, donations began pouring in until he was just more than $700 short of the goal in the final 15 minutes. Heidi McFadden announced that RCM Realty Group would make up that difference. It could take up to 7 weeks to verify if Hill's attempt broke the record-setting attempt of 49 hours and 20 minutes. But his players aren't concerned about the certification, they're just inspired by the effort. Congratulations to Mr. Hill and the CPAC girls soccer team. The Polar Plunge will see Carson City Chamber's Aloha Carson City team take part this weekend. The Polar Plunge will take place Saturday, March 21st at Zephyr Cove at Lake Tahoe. The annual event, in which hardy individuals take on the icy waters of Lake Tahoe, is a benefit for the Special Olympics. Costumes are encouraged, wetsuits are not allowed. If you'd like to help out with a donation to the Special Olympics, visit the email address shown at the bottom of your screen. Tune in to next week's edition of Carson TV News to see coverage of this fun event. Last Saturday, March 14th, McKelty O'Brien, a senior at Carson High School, collected pet food and supplies at Benson's Feed and Tack. The donated pet food and supplies will be delivered to Fish's Food Bank for distribution to the homeless and disadvantaged in our community. O'Brien has been volunteering at Pets of the Homeless since December as part of her senior project. Pets of the Homeless is a national nonprofit organization that provides pet food and veterinary care to homeless people across the country. More information can be found online at www.petsofthehomeless.org. Carson City Mayor Bob Kroll, Assemblyman P.K. O'Neill, and others helped celebrate the official grand opening Friday of the A Latte Coffee and Wine Bar in the Carson Nugget. A latte is just one of several changes taking place at the Nugget. The eatery has replaced the old coffee shop with a new, brighter, updated interior. The Nugget also has a new sports bar loft that features sports betting areas, TVs, and pool tables, and a new comedy club. Carson Comedy debuted last week and is bringing headliners to Carson City every Friday night. It's a seller's market here in Carson City, and this week's Property Perspectives, Garrett Lapierre shows what this means for our Northern Nevada real estate market.
Hi, I'm Garrett Lapierre, real estate agent with Century 21 Jim Wilson Realty, and you're watching the Property Perspective segment here on Carson TV News. Today we're going to talk about the current inventory levels for residential real estate in Carson City. So right now, if you're a buyer in Carson, any price range, doesn't matter, from $100,000 to $100 million. If you want to go buy a property, you're going to have 98 listings to choose from. And that's as of today, today is February 27th, 2015. That's a ridiculously low number. To give you some perspective on that number, in the peak of the downturn, in late 2009, early 2010, if you wanted to go buy a house, same situation, you would have roughly 430 houses to choose from on any given day. To repeat, today you have 98 homes to choose from, and that's it. All price ranges, that's condos, townhouses, and manufactured properties. What that means, and what that really means, is that we're in a dramatic seller's market. There's more buyer's demand than there are available properties. We're seeing a lot of houses sell for more than what they're asking, a lot of listings getting multiple offer situations on them. The other key component to this stat is that there are 107 pending listings right now. So there's 98 active that you could go look at, write an offer on, and buy. There's 107 pending listings, meaning that those homes are already in escrow. There's more pending listings than active listings. That's crazy. On average, we sell 55 homes a month in Carson City. Okay? That's on average 55 homes a month in Carson City, which means that we have less than a 2-month supply of inventory. A healthy market has a 6-month supply of inventory, and anything below that means seller's market, anything above that means buyer's market, and the fact that we only have 2 months worth of supply means that we're definitely in a dramatic seller's market. There has not been a better time to sell your property since easily 2006. So some of the best things for you to do would be to pick up the phone, get on your computer, contact your local real estate professional to get an idea of what your property's worth. I guarantee it's worth more than what you think it is. Prices have been going up, and especially with inventory levels where they're at, has even driven the price demand higher. Okay. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it. As always, we would love to have your feedback. If there's any topics you'd like to see us cover, if you have any questions you'd like to see answered, all you have to do is email us at carsontvnews@gmail.com. Thank you for watching, and make it a great day.
This week in sports, we have a taste of outdoor recreation as the new multi-use Pinion Trail opened in the Carson Valley. Here's Keith with more.
A ceremony was held Saturday morning, March 14th, to officially open the multi-use Pinion Trail in the South Gardnerville area. Horses, bikes, and other 4- and 2-legged mammals were encouraged to enjoy the trail after it had been blessed by the Washoe tribe. The Carson High baseball team no-hit the Hug Hawks last Tuesday for a 12-0 Mercy Rule win. The two teams faced each other once again on Thursday, and the Senators just exploded in the 5th with 15 runs to crush the Hawks 27-0. The competition was much tougher though on Saturday against Reed, and the Raiders came out on top by a score of 8-3. The Senator softball team snapped a 6-game losing streak on Saturday with a 17-2 win over Foothill in their final consolation game of the Victory Preseason Tournament of Champions in Sacramento. The Carson boys track team took first place in a Division I meet on Saturday with a total score of 89.5. Douglas was second at 86.5, Spanish Springs was third with 52, and Minogue fourth with 44. In the girls' meet, Douglas edged Minogue 74-72 while narrowly holding off the Senators, who finished in third with 71.25. The Wildcats of WNC got baseball coach DJ Whittemore his 400th win last Thursday by defeating Colorado Northwestern Community College 9-6. The Wildcats followed that up by splitting a doubleheader on Friday 7-1 and 1-6 then topped off the series with a 3-0 win to improve their Southwestern Athletic Conference leading record to 9-3. Lauren Lesniak hit her second grand slam in 3 weeks, and Christina George pitched a 3-hit shutout as the WNC softball team swept their doubleheader against Colorado Northwestern on Friday with 13-0 and 8-6 wins, then completed the series sweep in their Saturday doubleheader 8-3 and 10-1. And finally, school children across Nevada will step, pedal, and scoot their way to school on Wednesday as they participate in the 6th annual Nevada Moves Day. Sponsored locally by the Western Nevada Safe Routes to School program, Nevada Moves Day was conceived as a way to help students learn about bicycle and pedestrian safety and to raise awareness in communities. And walking and biking to school doesn't just fire up kids' feet and promote physical fitness. Studies suggest it gets their brains going too. Evidence suggests it can help students perform better academically and can help mitigate disciplinary issues as well. So please, be on the lookout for young pedestrians making their way to and from school on Wednesday and every day.
Thank you, Keith. If you're planning to take part in Nevada's big game hunt this fall, Rob Beamer suggests you get your big game tags soon. Here's more in this week's Sierra Nevada Outdoors segment.
Springtime marks the time for Nevada sportsmen to gear up and begin the application process for the year's Big Game Tag Lottery. Nevada's big game hunts are conducted by a random draw process and are available to those 12 years old or older. Applications this year will be made available on March 23rd, 2015, and the application deadline is on Monday, April 20th, 2015. A second drawing is conducted for remaining tags in June, and any remaining tags after the draw can be applied for on a first-come, first-served basis. What is there to hunt in Nevada, you might ask? Our big game species include mule deer, Rocky Mountain elk, 3 subspecies of bighorn sheep, pronghorn antelope, mountain goat, and black bear. Mountain lion tags are available over the counter, and fur-bearing animals can be harvested or trapped with a trapping license. One important thing to remember is anyone born after January 1, 1960 is required to provide proof of hunter education in order to purchase a Nevada hunting license. The only way to receive a new Nevada hunter education certificate is to attend a Nevada hunter education course. The course consists of independent home study and a certification class that lasts a minimum of 8 hours. The independent study component requires the completion of a workbook or an online course prior to attending the 8-hour certification course. The Hunter Ed workbook and student guide, which are together, may be obtained free of charge from any NDOW office or here in Carson City at the Community Aquatic Center, behind the Community Center, and also at the Carson City Sheriff's Office off of Musser Street. Students must bring their completed workbook or the Nevada Online Course Completion Certificate to class to gain admittance. Hunter education classes are offered year-round throughout Nevada, and sportsmen can check for class availability, dates, and locations at www.ndow.org. Early registration is definitely encouraged, and remember, the workbook or the online course must be 100% complete before attending the 8-hour certification course. One question that we get quite often is there a minimum age requirement to take the class? There is no minimum age requirement, but however, students under the age of 11 are required to attend with an adult. Classes will often spend 2 hours or more outdoors, so please, please, please dress accordingly. In closing, make sure that you have everything in order, and good luck in the draw this year. Please check out full-length episodes of Sierra Nevada Outdoors online at breweryarts.org or tune in to Charter Cable Channel 193. Until next time, see you in the outdoors. Back to you, Courtney.
Thank you, Rob. And up next, Amanda Long from Chive Cooking has a great recipe for you to try at home. Basil balsamic chicken is on the menu in this week's What's Cooking.
So this is balsamic basil chicken. First you want to fold your basil in half and then roll it up into a little tube. Use a really sharp knife and slice it into thin little ribbons. See? And now you want to mix the basil in with the balsamic. And then you want to cut a clove of garlic. And as you can see, I'm going to cut the clove in half. I learned this from watching Food Network. Can't remember what chef it was, but I found that it was a little bit easier. You got a little bit smaller, bite-sized pieces of garlic. You don't want too big pieces of garlic in this because you're going to end up cooking the garlic with the chicken when you cook it. And the little smaller bits just seem to be less overpowering. Add that to the marinade. Now we're going to add a little bit of salt and pepper just for seasoning. Clean up your area as you go. Makes cleanup at the end much easier, and then things aren't getting in your way on your cutting board. Add a little bit of soy sauce and red pepper flakes if you like that spice. It's not hot enough to be spicy. Add a little bit of honey. Now the honey takes away the bitterness and some of the tang of the vinegar, and it makes it a smoother marinade. Now you want to season your chicken on both sides with salt and pepper. And then we're going to put this into a gallon-size Ziploc bag to marinate. You can add more chicken than what I just added. I was only doing 2 because that was my lunch for the week. Now add the marinade in the bag with the chicken, and you can marinate it from 2 hours to overnight if you'd like. There you go. Now add your chicken to a pan. I'm using a non-stick pan here so I don't have to use any oil or butter. And I didn't drain the chicken off too much. You want to brown it on both sides. Let it cook a little bit. And then I always check my temperature, internal temperature of my meat. That's the surefire way to get the right temperature and doneness. And then slice it on up. And then you can save it for your lunches that week. I made a strawberry spinach salad.
Carson High School's production of Pippin continues this weekend and next, as well as a performance on Thursday, March 26th. The musical is about Pippin, the son of Charlemagne, and his journey into manhood. Don't miss this show at the Carson City Community Theater. This production is appropriate for audiences over 12 years old. Tickets are available at the door. The first annual St. Patty's Film Crawl filmmaking competition was last Saturday night. Many people were out and about in the downtown area, finding films at local businesses and then voting with likes on Facebook. The winning Audience Choice film was titled St. Patrick's Makeover and was a huge success in the blatant self-promotion this competition wishes to teach. Another film that came out of this competition is a nice accounting of Carson City's history of Blarney Stones. To finish off this week's edition of the news, sit back and enjoy the film. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
So Mike, how and when did it get all started? And who are the Sagebrush Sons of Aaron?
Well, I think I can answer the first part for you. And the second part, we'll see how far we get along before we reveal secrets.
Okay.
There had been some pranks being played back and forth, I can chronicle some of that stuff for you, but just it's very simply started off between Keith McDonald and myself, and we thought rather than paint each other's houses or steal each other's cars and fill them with popcorn and some of the crazy things we did back in the day, we decided to pull in an uninterested third party, and we picked one of our buddies, Milt Manoukian. And we hate to play a prank if it's something you can just brush off and look away and, you know, the prank is over, it's a ha-ha. So our first prank, and we thought it was a prank at the time, we took a Blarney Stone, which is probably, well, it's good size. I mean, it was a three, you know, like this, it was a 3-man stone. Yeah.
Whoa.
And you have to understand, anytime you get a stone, only so many people can participate or you're all bumping heads. So it makes it a beast. I mean, it's so much fun. So we got the stone, and we got out the cold chisels, and we had a plaque, plate made, Milt's Blarney Stone, presented by the Sagebrush Sons of Erin, 1981, 80 or 81. And we had so much fun with it that the Sagebrush Sons of Erin, that group of folks, continued to place a Blarney Stone every year. There are a couple of exceptions. We missed a stone sometime in the 2000 something, but we made a mosaic, a rock mosaic on a walking trail that made sense to us to display. And one year we missed it. Not quite sure what we were doing on St. Paddy's Day, but we missed it, and we placed the stone on April Fool's Day, which we thought was equally as entertaining. So that worked out pretty well. So we've never missed a year with a Blarney Stone, and we've been doing it for, whatever that is, 35 years.
So the Sons of Erin are just, relatives of Ireland?
Well, as you well know, the time you spend in Italy or here in the United States before you left, there's a certain time of year that everybody's Irish. So I'm going to answer yes to your question, but with McDonald, McKenzie, Riley Beckett, I just left somebody out, Shaughnessy and myself. We actually have pretty, we have a pretty good semblance of Irish descent, or certainly Irish humor. We all share that in common. We get together and some can sing, some can recite poetry, some do jokes,
Nice.
some pull pranks. So it's a good gathering.
How do you select who is going to be the recipient each year?
Well, it's usually a couple of scoops. A scoop of beer, maybe a good glass of wine.
Okay. Cheers.
Toss a. Usually, I hate to say this because I know we've had instances where somebody else has come up with a name and it's been fun. I know we did Leona Wood. When Leona was, she ran the convention authority or one of those. She had a nice office down there in the, where the Dutch Brothers, that coffee place is on the mall right there. She was out in front of Keith McDonald's head of drugstore right there in that mall. And Mike O'Shaughnessy worked with the Visitors and Convention Authority for years, and she had an office there. And they said, well, why don't we give Leona Wood a Blarney Stone? I think she might have been, maybe she was the second lady. She might have been first. But that night we got out and we do it on the eve of St. Patrick's Day, so that the stone is always there on the morning when people wake up. It's there, and we're too hungover to care what anybody says about anything. So it works out perfect. So we're placing the stone, and we've got to get it out of the back of a truck, and we're rolling it. And Mike Shaughnessy has the key to the Visitors Authority, so we can actually roll this stone inside her building, and it's just right for the doorway and nothing to spare. So we're rolling the stone in the doorway, and the gendarme, the police cruiser, pulls up and wants to know what we're doing or what we think we're doing, and we're all having a can of beer and we're pushing Blarney through the doorway, and he wants to know what we're doing, and Shaughnessy immediately comes out and tells him that we're on a mission for the Sagebrush Sons of Erin, and if he would take a trip around the block, he promised that the door would be locked and we'd be gone by the time he got back. And he looked and saw the Blarney Stone and looked at us, and he said, I'll make that trip around the block.
Oh, really?
And,
How cool.
and he drove off, and it was just wonderful of him.
Very nice.
And good of Mike to step forward and take a beating for us. And he knew there was no harm, no foul. But we got to roll the stone inside and lock the place up and leave. So,
Oh, so it wasn't outside.
it was inside. It was outside when he saw it, and we had the door open because Mike had the key. And so once he opened the door, we rolled the stone. And we always, I think you saw a stone the other day. You had a picture of Brett Andreas's, that
Yes.
State Farm.
Exactly.
We put that stone right in the middle of his walkway so that people that walked in were, of course, had to stop and walk around it and that.
Mm-hmm.
We had the stone there, we had it in the walkway, and the lights flicked on in his office, and his wife was down there doing some work in the evening, and she came outside and she told us in no uncertain terms that she didn't care who was putting the stone, she was going to pick the place, and she did.
Oh,
And we moved it.
it was in the corner there.
Oh, in the right, exactly where you saw it. It's where she wanted it.
Oh.
And we grunted and groaned and grunted and groaned to put it right where she said.
So, besides yourself, do you know of anyone else who has actually kissed the stone that you have placed?
You know, I don't think I'm going to be able to recall, but I have had people, I think John McLean may have kissed the stone. I think Father Hanley, Jerry Hanley may have kissed the stone. But I bet I've had, over the years, I bet I've had a dozen people, in 35, tell me that, yeah, I've been there. I've kissed the stone. Or I've had some people tell me they've seen the stone, but they haven't kissed it. It's a bit of a task to get turned upside down and lifted down underneath the ledge there. But
Thank you, Mike,
thank
for going into detail about your project, your life project of the Blarney Stones here in Carson City.
my absolute pleasure, believe me.
And cheers.